Warning. The following podcast is utter nonsense and may cause agoraphobia, kleptomania, insomnia, and oppositional defiance disorder. We are required by law to provide you with this disclaimer for hazardous materials.
And welcome to Hazardous Materials, last week's comics this week, wherein we talk about last week's comics this week.
And then we tack on a little bit of multimedia news at the end because we are desperate for those engagement clicks.
My name's Casey Johnson, with me as always,
Gideon Gonzalez.
So, we've got a few things. We've got a lot of ending things to talk about.
A lot of ends.
A lot of ends.
A lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous.
But before we do that, we're going to talk about the food that the shark ate.
Suicide Squad number 2. Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo. Oh my God. I love this book.
God.
I already love the first issue. This issue brought it. Oh my God. So much came together.
I felt like the episode, while we got a lot of crazy stuff going on in this, the thing that really got me was Shark rolling up to that one guy, Finn, and going, hey, by the way, your brother tasted horrible, but I like the way he wiggled. I was like, God.
Yeah. Finn and Shark's banter. Oh, Finn wearing one of Shark's teeth later as a necklace. Great. Loved it.
Oh, man. That is not going to end well.
So the issue opens with, in media res, with a mission going poorly. Aceta gets shot in the shoulder. Their target gets shot. Things
go south.
Yeah. And we flash back then to the earlier in the day and what led up to that mission happening the way it did. On the way, we get that great Finn and Shark little we get a scene with Locke, their new leader, the new Amanda Waller, essentially.
Yeah.
Who keeps Zebra Man around to give him a magnet shield at all times.
Yeah.
It's great. I love
just in case one of them decides to take a nice old pot shot at him, because apparently putting bombs in your head doesn't really matter when you're this crazy political ideologue who's willing to die for their cause.
Yeah, I love these guys.
Yeah.
These guys rule. And so Locke then is basically like, hey, so we rigged a foreign election, as the United States government is known to do. And so we need to make sure you guys have the transition of power go smoothly.
Protect our assets.
Yeah, like the line is like, what's the point of rigging an election if you can't even keep the winner alive? The winner you paid for alive.
Who we just killed in the first page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a great little character bit of Aerie, the flyer. They don't like being in planes. I thought that was a really neat little conversation.
Yeah.
There's a great fight scene with Osita, who is their leader, big burly woman with a robot arm.
Right.
She says a command to their teleporter, Wink. She just says, range. And you see Wink grab a guy and teleport him several yards further so that he is within punching distance of Osita. It's a great bit.
That sounds like something that was probably practiced at one point. It's like, I want to beat that guy.
But he's too far away.
Yes. How do I fix this problem?
But the end of this issue is the great reveal where you get a new angle on that opening page. And you see Osita shoots herself through the shoulder and then shoots the president.
Right.
And then makes a little motion to Deadshot, who's just kind of stunned. And one of my favorite things about this book is that Deadshot is just completely out of his element dealing with people who actually have ideals.
Right. I mean, normally an unflappable character who has a death wish, therefore has zero fear of anything, usually doesn't show any kind of real emotion, and he is completely lost with these people.
Yeah.
He is barely hanging on to what the hell is going on here. Oh, okay.
Yeah, being on a team with people who are like ready to die for a cause, not just for nihilistic purposes, really seems to have shook him up. And while I voiced frustrations with Harley and Deadshot being in the book because I don't feel like that's really necessary, and I feel like it kind of undermines the themes of the book to have constantly surviving members.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. It gives us a new perspective on these characters.
I think that Deadshot's also suffering from the fact that he can't work Waller, because for all intents and purposes, that's exactly what he does. That's how he keeps alive constantly. He does work Waller. He's dealing with this other dude who clearly has different ideals and on how things go. So he's got this military guy, and now he's got these things, and it's like, crap, what am I doing here?
I'm beyond excited to see how this turns out. And I really just want to give a special shout out to Bruno Redondo for just absolutely killing that misdirection.
Yeah.
Like, you get the information looks so straightforward on the first page that it's such a like, whoa, when they change the angle on you.
I was a little confused when she started firing on the gun and says, we're being ambushed. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh.
Excellent book. If you're not reading Suicide Squad, you really should. It's one of the best things DC's putting out right now.
That being said, I still say they should yank out Deadshot, put him in a Secret Six book. There, I said it.
Yeah. Maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
One
Come on, Gail Simone. Do this for me.
So moving on to the return of one of my picks for the top 10 of the 2010s.
And I have something to say about this.
Yes.
I have something to say about this. You got me super jazzed about this book. Told me all this crazy crap. I actually sat down and read it, and I got sabotaged because this book wasn't funny at all. This book was serious. I felt like I was reading Love and Rockets back in the 90s. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Which I'm sure Matt and Chip would find incredibly high praise. 'Cause I certainly do. But we are talking about, of course, The Return of Sex Criminals by Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky on issue 26, the start of their final arc. And Casey has once again walked into the movie in the last third and complained about not knowing what's going on.
I mean, I granted, I knew what was going on enough to know, okay, this is issue 26. I'm not going to know everybody's names. I'm not going to know what's going on. I'm going to be entertained at least by the scenarios. But everything was feelings and seriousness and background. My parents were horrible to me and they wouldn't believe in therapy. And it's like, what in the hell did I walk into?
See, they get you with the weird, crazy sex powers in Volume 1.
Yeah.
And then you're like super invested in the characters.
There were no crazy sex powers at all in this.
Maname. You get to see Maname's powers for one panel.
Was that the one where he like did his business in somebody and it was like this weird...
The magical girl with the tentacles fighting the army?
Yeah. Okay, that was real. I thought that was just fun.
No, those were little imaginary spots for everyone, but that is how his powers work.
Okay. Yeah, not exactly the best issue to walk in on. Now, granted, I know this is a book that's ending very soon.
So there's going to be this final arc, 26 through 30. There's going to be a Sexual Gary one-shot, and then the grand finale, they skip 3 years and 3 months to deliver Sex Criminals number 69.
Of course they are.
And it's going to have so many variants. I'm very excited. I will buy all of them.
Will it have 69 variants?
My wallet hopes not, but my heart hopes for it.
God, I don't think they could pull that off. This is obviously a book I'm going to have to rewind and go and
you got to start from the beginning.
But I didn't know the issue was coming out this week when we were doing our blurb and we got the list of all the books to read. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm actually going to read Sex Criminal. So Gideon doesn't have to like ride this horse all by himself every time he brings this book up. And then I read it. I'm like,
you fool.
Really? All right.
But it's a great book. If you're already reading Sex Criminals.
If you're already reading it.
Exactly. Jump right back in. If you're not, go buy number 1. Volume 1's $10. What do you got to lose?
Oh, jeez.
But on a more new reader friendly note.
Yet again, Quantum and Woody has rebooted itself. Now, I was on the reboot that happened about 6-7 years ago, and I really enjoyed that.
That's a very fun run.
I only got about 3 issues in before I got distracted, and this happens a lot, especially when new stuff. I've never been enticed by Valiant books by and large.
And which is something I slowly make changes on. You like Dr. Mirage quite a bit.
I did like Dr. Mirage. So it's hard to keep me going because all the supporting characters are all characters I don't know anything about. So I lost that. So this came around and I didn't get a chance to completely get into it, but I did read about half the book. So that's my caveat.
Woody develops prophetical powers, or does he? Funniest thing. I think you just learned how to make your hands glow and you're just saying nonsense.
Oh, you were telling me something from the last reboot that I thought was absolutely hilarious. And I want you to tell them what you told me about Quantum's full bodysuit protecting him from certain things.
So there's an arc where there is a compound of some far-right extremists who all love Quantum, not knowing that Quantum is a black man because he wears a full-body costume.
And see, what I want to know is, doesn't Quantum know his audience at this point?
I mean, he was just happy to have fans. So he rolls into the compound like, this is going to be easy. They love me.
They love me.
But without his mask on. And a little boy holding his gun, yells out, "Mama, you were right. Obama's here to take our guns." Killed me. One of my favorite gags in a comic.
Now, from what I understand, these Quantum and Woody are brothers.
Yes, adopted brothers.
They're adopted brothers, and I think that's actually why the book really works.
Yes.
Is because
you get to see a lot of their background here with Woody making a Dungeons and Dragons piece out of a cutout from the magazine under Quantum's bed. It's like, yeah,
Okay.
you're going to tell Dad about that? It's a great little brother bit.
I want to read more about this. Only because I'm trying to branch out. Because I mean, by and large, I tend to read mainstream stuff, and you tend to read the indie stuff.
I can't recommend Quantum and Woody enough. They are my favorite independent superheroes. I'm still waiting for that TV show that
never happened.
Yeah, Joel McHale was supposed to play Woody. Would have been awesome.
Man, Joel McHale has been in a lot of misfire books. Not books, but shows. They made an American IT Crowd that he starred in.
Yeah. That's awful.
Yeah, it really is.
Just completely atrocious.
Man, Joel, and I don't know if he was aware of what he was walking into. He took over. Was it Brian O'Dowd's role, the Irish guy?
Yeah,
and they kept it. I cannot remember.
What's wild is that it's almost word for word the same script.
Yeah,
but it's just the direction is awful. His cadence is weird.
McHale needs to be directed. He's not exactly what we would call a actor.
I am excited to see him as the Star Spangled Kid in Stargirl.
Oh, is he going to be in that?
With Luke Wilson as Stripe, yeah.
I like Joel McHale from The Soup, and I like the unfortunate Joel McHale show that got canceled at Netflix, which breaks my heart because that was Soup too. And he's done great in Community. I love me some Community. I need to have the movie for the prophecy to fulfill itself. But other than that, Joel... He's kind of...
Sir, you're forgetting his breakout role in the major motion picture Spider-Man 2.
What was I thinking? or
as
his,
the bank teller that wouldn't give Aunt May a toaster?
That's right. Or as the other realtor in a Santa Clara Diet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Realtors.
How do we do that one? How's that said? Is it realtor or realtor? I was always confused.
They do the same bit in Justified. It's funny every time.
I've been watching Justified. I've been marathoning it since episode 1, like last week, and I'm like halfway through series 2.
Timothy Oliphant reprising Waylon Givens for one episode of The Good Place was
gold.
Delightful. I haven't watched the finale yet, so don't spoil it for me.
I actually went on Twitter. I never touched Twitter. I went on Timothy Oliphant's Twitter, and I thanked him for helping save the universe.
Aw. Did he like it?
He did not reply.
Classic Timmy.
Well, apparently he keeps his cards close to his chest. When you go to his Twitter account, it's like you need to be friends with Timothy Oliphant to see his stuff. So, a very public fella.
No, I can respect that.
Yeah.
But anyways, Quantum Woody, it's Chris Hastings of Dr. Ninja fame with Ryan Browne on art duties. Pick it up. It is delightful.
You know what? Now that you've brought it up, I'm going to talk about The Good Place here at the end of our episode because I got things to say about that.
Well, don't spoil it for me.
It might happen. I'll try not to.
Okay, so we've got a bunch of Marvel books this week. I know, a shocker.
Big one.
There was a ton of the end one-shots for Deadpool, Doctor Strange, and Captain Marvel this week. All three were really good. Highly recommend them. Joe Kelly going back on Deadpool, Leah Williams revisiting the magic side that she did in What If Magic. But the real standout to me was Captain Marvel, The End by Kelly Thompson and Carmen Carnero. And man, Kelly Thompson just gets Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I got a chance to actually devour this like right before the camera started on this one. And I kind of saw it coming halfway through. And it's like, she's got parallax, ain't she?
It's a big damn good ending.
Yeah. So what we got here is Carol's been gone since like 2051 or 2052 or something like that. The planet's been ravaged. It's coated in radiation. The sun is dying. Only like the super strong and the super resilient superhuman beings are able to survive on this world, including
Jerry Drew, Jessica Drew's son, Jessica Drew herself,
right?
Molly Hayes
from Runaways.
Danny Cage and Lucy Rand, who are a couple, and that's adorable, and I love it.
Jennifer, and I can't remember her last name, but Hazmat from Avengers Academy.
Yes.
And what that weird Hunger Games spinoff from Avengers Academy.
Yeah, Avengers Arena.
Right.
The bad book.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, well, it killed off a few characters that I thought that really needed killing, so I was okay with it.
Wow, rude.
Yeah, well, you know what? That was that Captain Britain Jr.? Man, he had that thing coming. He so had it coming.
What was his name? Was it? No, it wasn't Lionheart. It was
I think it was Captain Britain Jr.
Oh, really? That is rough.
Yeah.
Metal didn't deserve that, though. My boy Metal was done dirty. He was a great character with a ton of potential.
I'm glad you brought this up. A correction on our last week's episode when we were talking about the female Captain Britain, and I referred to her as Pendragon. Her name is actually Lionheart.
And she's still terrible.
She's still terrible, and from what I understand, and now I can fully believe this, Chuck Austin is a hack.
It's true. But, he does great work on Steven Universe and She-Ra, so...
Is he working on Steven Universe?
Yeah, he's been an executive producer throughout the show's entire run.
I went on his Wikipedia just to kind of get an idea, because when you told me that you didn't like him, it's like, wow, Gideon's got a negative opinion of somebody? So I went and checked it out, and in his Wikipedia, they talk about the fact that people don't like his stuff.
Yeah.
And that comic stores won't carry some of his stuff.
Yeah.
You really got to suck on a phenomenal level, like a Rob Liefeld level, for that to occur.
Yeah, Chuck Austin, I don't think he really garnered any fans in the comic community. But again, he found his niche. He helped produce some amazing cartoons. So
maybe Chuck Austin in some way wrote Avengers 200.
I wish more bad comic book writers would find their niche in other media.
Just permanently?
Like just do a complete twist like Chuck Austin did of going from making some of the worst comics I've ever read to some of the most charming cartoons I've ever seen.
Yeah, maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe that's what McFarlane needs to do.
But anyways, we got off topic. Captain Marvel becomes an energy being in the future, reignites the sun. Really great, touching stuff. It has a nice reunion with Jessica Drew. I loved seeing Jerry Drew grown up.
I really like Jessica
cool.
Drew's line when she shows up. She goes, "How dare you show up here looking like a big sparkly bunch of awesomeness, and I look like I'm wearing my grandmother's skin."
I love... my girl Emma's there.
Yep.
Constantly in diamond form, so she doesn't die. There's a bit where it's like, Emma, you're still alive. And what's the line? Like, fabulous never dies. Strictly better than Phantom of the Opera, Love Never Dies.
Yeah. When I saw her, I thought maybe it was one of the Stepford Cuckoos had evolved and taken all of Emma's powers.
That'd be kind of cool.
Because, they are, for all intents and purposes, clones of Emma.
They are.
They just never have really pulled out the whole diamond form. But that was during the whole secondary mutation thing that Grant Morrison was doing way back in the day when he decided, I'm going to make Beast look like a kitty cat.
Well, the backstory for Emma getting the diamond form is Grant wanted Colossus on the team, and they were like, Colossus is dead. And he was like, okay, Emma Frost can become a diamond now.
Yeah, and I think that kicked into gear right when Genosha was blown apart.
First issue of his run. Well, second issue of his run. Because first issue, Genosha gets bombed. Second issue, Emma's among the survivors.
Hey, and fun fact is when she took that diamond form for the first time, she was bringing out the then deceased body of
Negasonic Teenage Warhead,
which they used in Deadpool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they just stole the name for her
and slapped it on Cannonball's power set.
Exactly.
But I love the character as presented in the movie.
She's really fun. I think she's great.
But yeah, all the end books have been pretty damn good. Venom, the end, I got to talk a little bit about last week. That was a really fun issue. And
I got to look at that back when you were I saw the Madrox Factor.
We didn't talk about Miles Morales at the end, but that one was pretty rad too. It's got Damon Scott. He used to draw the Cassandra Cain Batgirl comics, draws it. Mm-hmm. Does a really good job there. And I think the next one... I think Captain America, the end, is the last one, and that's going to be by Eric Larson, written and drawn. I'm very curious about that. Because
I've shared my opinion on Eric Larson.
And I've shared mine too. But if nothing else, the dude swings for the fences every damn time. So
I can't say that Eric Larson half-asses it.
Yeah.
He doesn't. You're right.
He gives his vision 110%. And so... I'm going to check it out.
Speaking of Cassandra Cain, there's a young adult book coming out for her. Mm-hmm. Was it like Shadow of the Batgirl or something like that? I was really hoping from this title, it's like, okay, we're really going to get her back into the kind of at least somewhat Batgirl persona, the whole outfit and everything. But then I found out, okay, well, it's a young adult book. You can't really get too Cassandra Cain in a young adult book.
You don't get the used as target practice as a child Cassandra Cain bits.
No, and from what I understand, it's more of an art piece than it is like a mainstream comic.
And again, it's not in continuity, so
yeah.
But a lot of those young adult DC books, I think it's Zoom or Ink is the imprint they're using for it.
Yeah,
they look really cool. Like Piccolo, the guy who does all that Teen Titans fan art, he got picked up to do a couple Teen Titans books for it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I think his Raven book already came out, and a Beast Boy book's coming out pretty soon. And then there was a Mira book that was really cool. I'm blanking on some of the other ones, but yeah, on the whole, the line has been.
We're not talking about the same Mira book that we completely roasted a few months back.
No. This was Mira Tidebreaker, I believe is what it was called.
Okay.
Yeah. And Stephen Byrne from Wonder Twins did the art on it.
I love Wonder Twins.
It's such a good book.
I have the Wonder Twins hero click so I can write it below my computer monitor. they do their fisty things.
One of my Grail toys is the San Diego exclusive Wonder Twins from DC Universe Classics, where the box has their fists on it, and it's like an open, and it plays the sound clips when you open it.
Oh, that's cool.
It's real cool.
I'd buy that just for that.
The downside is that Gleek was a lottery system prize at the same convention, so he's ungodly expensive, but you can't have the Wonder Twins without Gleek.
Did you know, and I know you haven't watched all of the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and what I'm going to give you isn't really a spoiler.
Is Gleek in it? Is my boy in there?
Gleek is in the last episode.
Oh my God. Like,
but no, it's a complete unsung cameo.
Does he got a little bowl cut?
Well, okay, so you don't really see him.
Okay.
I need to tell you that. All the remaining heroes, they say, okay, we're going to go to this new Star Labs that we don't use. This is like a warehouse. And of course, they pull back outside the warehouse, and it's the Super Friends building.
They've had the Hall of Justice for a bit on the show.
Yeah, and then in the back you hear some clutter and stuff going on.
This monkey.
And they pull back, and like there's a cage, and it says Star Labs, Gleek, and the cage is open.
Ah, that's cute. that's real cute. I like that. But
moving on into the cosmos of the Marvel Universe now.
We have gotten completely off track again, man. A staple of Hazardous Materials. But Thor #2, Donny Cates and Nick Klein keep killing it.
Yep.
Like, I was kind of like, I'll give Donny a first issue fluke, but damn, this one's real good.
So from what I'm understanding, this book is actually selling.
Yeah, it's doing really good for us.
Yeah. I mean, in the past, Thor has really suffered. I mean, it's always been a staple for Marvel Comics. You can't get around it. But by and large, it really just doesn't sell. I mean, even for 6-7 years, there was no Thor book at all.
Yeah, for a hot minute there.
Yeah, right after the big Ragnarok event. But then, the Thor movie comes out, and boom, Thor is now a viable IP. Yeah,
the Jason Aaron's Thor also, I don't think we can undersell just how much of an impact on sales that had. Jason Aaron's Thor was a consistent, really good seller. War of the Realms was a huge, massive event.
So our boy at the Herald has run into yet another fan favorite, which I know you're a big fan of.
We'll get to that because that's the end of the issue.
I know, but I want to jump on it immediately.
No. So we lead in with showing what the Black Winter does to other universes. This one, a very not thinly veiled DC universe with a sun god, an emerald god, a speed god, an ocean god.
A league of heroes.
Yes. And they get eaten.
Yeah, they get eaten practically off camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Thor finds the first of the MacGuffin planets that Galactus needs to chow down on before he can get strong enough to fight off the Black Winter. But it's populated. And Thor's like,
of course.
Nay. He gets the Silver Surfer problem.
It's the Silver Surfer problem from the 60s all over again.
But the Silver Surfer didn't have access to a Bifrost.
That's true.
So he calls on a Sif to open up a bridge, and Asgard takes in all of the population of the planet as refugees.
Would that actually make Bifrost now a verb? So
Bifrosted it.
We just Bifrosted them right out of there. Yeah, there you go. New word.
And then, yes, and then we get to that big thing. Galactus eats the planet. He's all, I feasted well. And Thor's like, but I was supposed to leave the planet there for the guys to go back to. But then my boy shows up. Something slaps Galactus upside the head. And I'm going to use our one F-bomb for the show.
Go for it.
Only bad enough to slap Galactus upside the head. Broke his helmet once.
In our effort to keep a PG rating 13, we've stuck into one F-bomb per show. Enjoy.
And I am, of course, referring to the last Corbinite, Thor's himself, Beta Ray Bill.
Get to it already.
Beta Ray Bill deserves every level of introduction I can give him because I love this dude and I'm so hyped to see him throw down with Harold Thor.
Now, I'm not saying this to bring you down. I don't do that much, but I don't like Thor.
I know this.
And you know I don't like Beta Ray Bill.
It's okay to be wrong sometimes.
From what I understand. I'm surrounded by my comic friends, and their love of Beta Ray Bill is pretty universal. I feel like I'm the one that's standing out going, there's not much to him. He's just Thor with an angry orange horse head. And
he's better Thor.
Well, yeah, that's what I keep hearing.
He's more purely heroic. He is, such a great character. Love him. Watch that episode of Avengers vs. Mightiest Heroes. Has an amazing Beta Ray Bill episode that really
you mentioned that before.
It really captures the appeal of the character.
Yeah, and I'm always willing to be open-minded, but I mean, I've known about Beta Ray Bill ever since like Walt Simonson's run, and I didn't like him back then either.
I can't believe
I had an opportunity.
Philistine.
I know, and I had an opportunity to really enjoy him when Marvel tried to do an Omega Flight series with the new Guardian and all these new characters, and they were gonna have Beta Ray Bill. It's like he was on their line to be the part of the roster, and then they changed everything. It's like, okay, we don't want it to be an ongoing. We're just gonna do it for 5 issues.
Yeah,
and when they did that, Beta Ray Bill went from a team member to just a guest star in the last issue.
Grossly mishandled book.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. Who's also a great replacement Thor? My boy Thunderstrike.
Where's he been these days?
Where is Eric Master? Well, I think he's dead.
Well, I think
his son's been around. His son's been around. He's got
his mallet, his mace.
He's got that sledgehammer. He's got a little lightning bolt mohawk.
Oh, God.
He's great. I love Thunderstrike.
Thunderstrike was truly a product of the leather jacket,
the 90s
superheroism in the 90s.
Also, but we can never be rid of him because he's in Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, is he?
It was at the time when he would take over when he was Eric Masterson and would turn into Thor. So he was Thor in the Avengers, fully armored up and everything. But he would get a couple of thought bubbles of, golly, I hope no one notices I'm actually Thor. Like during the battle with Thanos, he's like, my hammer, I must retrieve it within an hour or I will turn back into Eric Masterson and everyone will know my ruse. I'm like, you got bigger stakes here, Eric.
Yeah. Well, I want to know about something. Okay. One of the biggest staples of the 90s, beyond everybody's having gigantic hair, the leather jacket. Where did that start? See, my theory is it started with Rogue and Jim Lee.
Honestly, that's probably not too far off. Gambit also had leather.
He had the trench.
He had a dumb leather duster that didn't match his outfit.
He really did. And that was pretty dumb. That was back when his powers came out of his eyes for like one episode.
Because he might be a Summers brother.
Oh, God, don't remind me of that. I remember that mystery.
Fun fact. I did the research on this because I recently...
You did research on shit I'm just dropping on you right now.
I say recently. This is like a month or two ago. Okay. I picked up, it's Uncanny. I can't remember what annual it is, but it's tying into Days of Future Present, the story where Franklin from the Days of Future Past timeline comes to the present. This is it's illustrated by Art Adams.
Okay.
But in the issue, Gambit's there. And this issue comes out a month before Uncanny X-Men 266. And I've seen it listed as first Gambit cameo. However, Gambit is on like 6 story pages, has multiple lines of dialogue. Everyone talks to him. He is fully ingrained in the story. It is a full appearance by all accounts.
So that would truly make it his first appearance.
However, chronologically, it takes place after Uncanny X-Men 266 because
But that doesn't matter in the realm of comic collecting.
That's what I'm saying. It's insane that Uncanny 266 is considered his first appearance when it comes out a month after the Uncanny Annual.
That is an arguable. Why hasn't that been brought up before?
I don't know.
Especially in the thralls of Gambit fans that want to get that cool book that no one knows about. If that news was commonplace, that book would skyrocket.
We will tank the Uncanny X-Men 266 economy. Invest in, it's like Uncanny Annual like
everybody
18.
out there that's got that horrible issue, and I've read that horrible issue. It was like, oh my God, don't you dare. It's already hundreds of dollars. Now it ain't crap. I actually remember owning that book. And I remember it was like, why has this guy got a Speedo on?
He does have that little, he's got that little metal thong.
Yeah, he does. And it's
sorry, Rob, we got to have that picture on. Yeah, that thong was truly not one of the Q*bert's strongest artistic decisions.
No, and I don't know really what was going on there because, I mean, that outfit was just all over the place.
Yeah. But, this is a great segue to the real meat and potatoes of the week. X-Men number 5 by Johnny Hicks and Artie Silva from Powers of X.
Okay, so I want to talk about this straight off. It seems to me like the writer of X-Men knows what's going on over at Fallen Angels.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no. You are not doing that to Laura. Now, what I'm talking about here is the fact that the X-Men are trying to get into the
vault.
The vault, the Children of the Vault, which is an old Bacalo.
Yeah,
Am I saying
Chris,
right?
Chris Bacalo.
Chris Bacalo made this way back during the Sabretooth and Mystique X-Men days.
The Marauders days.
Right. So I love the design on these, and I'm glad they kept the design on these. But we're trying to get a team in there, and you need to get a team in there that's going to be able to survive. So we're reintroduced to my boy Sync. Woo! Which they go a full page on.
Which I really liked that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, he's been dead for like 20 years. And they went into like, he's having a lot of difficulty acclimating. So they brought back Skin to kind of help ease that transition.
And you know what? I'm glad they really do stuff like that, because so many times in comic books, you'll bring back a character and you'll miss the opportunity for the pathos of a return like that.
Yeah.
Because Sync has been dead for a while, and he's got friends that want to see him back, but you can't do that part. You got to go right into the action.
Yeah.
So to stop and say, hey, listen, this is the kind of crap he's dealing with. Some of his friends have kind of passed him by. So, we raised one of his friends along with him. And of course, we've also got Darwin. Did Darwin die? I don't think Darwin died.
Darwin can't die.
No, Darwin died in the movies.
Yeah, terrible scene.
That was awful.
Worst scene of a pretty great movie.
Yeah. No, as far as the after Last Stand movies go, First Class is where it's at.
Yeah, First Class is real fun.
It really is.
But Darwin, I think the last we saw him was when he was an X Factor going on his lonely road after becoming a death god temporarily and being like, I need to think about some stuff.
Man, Peter David really likes doing that to his people, doesn't he?
Because Siren also became a death god at the end of that run.
Guy
Guido, King of Hell.
King of Hell. It's like, man, David, focus, man.
I really liked how he gave everyone like pretty conclusive endings at the end of his X Factor run, which of course have all been undone at this point.
I didn't like the endings.
I liked them.
The only ending I liked, and which is really surprising given how much I love this character and how much I'm not really much of a religious kind of guy, is the ending they gave to Rain when they made her deacon of Madrox's church.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Because that was cool. That gave her some peace.
Yeah, and also very in character.
Yeah,
like it felt like a culmination for her.
Yeah, but then like right after that, they stuck her in X-Force.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Poor unfortunate souls.
But this goes back to what I was talking about. And this goes back what I'm trying to point out is the team that they need to get into the vault is Darwin, Sync, and X-23. Maybe.
No.
Because when they bring up the fact, here at X-23.
Like Wolverine,
which she completely corrects, goes, no, actually, I am Wolverine. And I was like, right, you are.
It was awesome. It was very satisfying, and she's got the whole Wolverine costume on.
Yes, which now we figured out how to tell. Well, of course we can tell the difference, but they gave them colors that can be theirs because Wolverine's gone back to his John Byrne tan and browns. Yeah, which I'm okay with that. I kind of like that. And then Laura's got the blue and yellows.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that too.
Sync's wearing his classic Gen X outfit. Darwin's wearing his purple and green getup. They all got good looks. I
like the effect. And now, I'm glad that I'm not the only person. Well, we're not the only people that have noticed that Fallen Angels did Laura an extreme disservice by completely.
Yeah, it walked her back a solid decade.
Yeah, I've actually been looking at
more than that. Walked her back like 15 years.
I looked at some of the reviews for other websites and they had the exact same complaint.
Yeah, it's pretty widespread.
So I'm thinking that reverberated somehow, and I'm thinking that that's how it made it to X-Men 5.
Yeah.
I really think this is Marvel's answer. We're like, hey, you're right. We're going to kill this book because it sucks.
Yeah.
And we're going to treat Laura like the hero and the character that we've been developing for years now.
I also really liked when Laura finds out the details of the mission being like, hey, know who should lead this? Wolverine, and points over to Logan.
And then Logan's like, it is.
Gotta take the good with the bad.
Yep. So I'm really excited about this. I'm hoping this sticks. I'm hoping this isn't just a flash in the pan to keep us happy. I'm hoping that the powers that be are leaning towards Laura being an evolved character and not just being a one and done assassin girl. We're just going to throw in, we're going to call her X-23, which I never understood.
Yeah, always thought that was a pretty tacky, especially when they made her go back to the name after Wolverine.
Yeah, what a digression. And she's had other names like Raptor and stuff like that, Talon.
Raptor was to be fair, though, Raptor was a pretty dumb name.
But as far as anything, it's like, what would you like to be called? Would you like to be called a name that you actually thought of that might be kind of cheesy? Or would you like to be called the designation about the people that experimented on you?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't hate the Talon era.
No, I didn't. I
didn't.
I liked it. I've never liked the X-23 title. Never.
Yeah.
And I hated the fact they actually made comics called X-23 because it felt like to me like
the downside is they're really good comics too.
They're really good, but the more they keep putting her under the banner of it, the more it's got to stick.
Yeah.
And I've been really upset about that. So I guess I'm glad that the X-23 book is done and we've got somebody that actually cares about her and says, you know, that all new Wolverine book was awesome. It's over, but it doesn't have to be over. I like that. I really like
forever. But the issue wraps up. So the Vault has time works different there.
Very much.
So our three heroes go in for 53 days in people time?
3 months and like some odd days.
Yeah.
And then they just like, well, what does that translate into? And it's like just over 1,000 years.
My God, what have I done?
Yeah.
Scott Summers says.
I mean, the three of them would be the perfect people to survive.
Sync can make himself immortal by copying Darwin and Laura. So
and I guess we got to push the Lauren mortality thing with it.
Yeah.
I really hope they don't do that to her. You know, pull oh, by the way, you just aged 1,000 years.
Worst case scenario, you just put them out to pasture and then grow them back in the eggs.
It's not the first time I've actually seen heroes or characters do this where they'll just say, okay, well, you know, the character goes away into another dimension. It's like, okay. And then they're back. Oh, by the way, they spent 100 years there. Case in point, this is going to be an old reference, so forgive me. And it's something you're watching right now. Angel. Have you seen the last season 2 episode
of Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a shock to you.
Oh, no, a 20-year-old spoiler.
So Angel gets thrown into hell. For all intents and purposes, somehow you'll figure it out.
That's pretty cool.
And he comes back like just a couple months later, but to him, he spent 100 years there.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, that means that the character has aged 100 years. He's had to deal with all this crap for 100 years. How's that going to affect his character?
A couple new crow's feet.
Yeah, just a bit. I don't know. It's always kind of troubled me.
Yeah, it's when done well, it's cool. Most of the time, it's not. I got faith in Johnny Hicks. He hasn't steered us wrong yet.
I think last time I really saw this was when they buried Bender's head. Remember that?
Do you remember when Joe Kelly did? He's actually done this bit a couple of times, but when he was writing JLA, when they accidentally left Plastic Man at the dawn of time, and then Batman strolls into the watchtower with like a little jug, and he pours it out, and it's Plastic Man who has survived for millions of years.
How the hell did that happen? Is he like dormant or something?
He's just chilling.
That's weird. It's weird because
he's a fossil fuel.
Poor Bender spent 1,000 years as a buried head, and he was like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" That's robot. Can't go insane.
Remember me.
You know, every time you do that voice, I'm always thinking of that character in the IT crowd that keep in the closet. The goth guy.
Yeah. I can't remember what the character's name was, but
I can't either.
Noel Felding is the actor.
Noel Felding, who is from the Mighty Boosh, which is genius if you need to
One
watch
of the current hosts of the Great British Bake Off, where he's delightful.
I've seen it. I actually don't just watch that just because he was in it.
Powerful ant energy.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? We're starting to get off on a tangent.
We are. So, X-Force number 6.
Yes.
This book rules. Every issue's better than the last.
Yep.
Ben Percy and Stephen Segovia work on this one, and Beast is a straight up bastard, and it's great.
Yeah, you know what? They actually kind of stretch the rules a bit because the discussion comes of the mind, well, we can't kill humans. We still can't kill humans, but we've got this plant thing that's evolving these beings to the point of the Omega Sentinel level. And apparently now the Omega Sentinel is a designation where you become transhuman or posthuman or whatever you want to call it. And you're no longer human. Therefore, dead.
And Omega Sentinels ain't got no rights.
Yeah. I mean, this really comes when this, now you're no longer talking about the fact of being a bunch of heroes. Beast is no longer controlling heroes. He's trying to keep his nation healthy, much like the CIA does the same thing for Americans.
When this
ideally.
book was pitched as Mutant CIA, I was like, okay, so this be like Black Ops stuff. And I was like, oh no, We doing real CIA stuff. We're toppling foreign governments
for the benefit of the mutant nation.
Yeah.
Because as they detail this weird plant thing that they've got going on, which moves much like Sentinel nanites, except of course it uses plant life, could completely topple what the mutants have to offer the rest of the world, and therefore, as they call it, threaten their sovereignty. So can't have that nonsense.
No, sir.
So we go in there completely. They pull a hatchet job on the son of the king or something like that,
which doesn't work.
Which totally doesn't work.
But they're like, we did it. We saved Krakoa, while his like planty body slithers away.
Yeah, now we got a brand new villain. New villains, yay! I mean, I guess at this point in X-Men's history, they are really having to create brand new villains. And I notice a lot of the books are starting to do that. We've seen it in the nation that joined Krakoa as an island. We've seen, and the weird Golden Girls that came in, the assassins with Domino stuff. There's all these brand new villains that they're having to create.
Oh, we got to talk about one of the biggest reveals in this issue.
Okay.
Xavier was an inside job.
Yes, apparently Xavier.
Oh my God.
So Charles Xavier had the idea that the only way to really galvanize the importance of keeping his nation intact is to show how fragile it is and how it could be taken away. And the best way to do that is to have him killed. Because, if you're not paying attention, the leaders and everything could just go away. It's smart.
Yeah.
But Xavier came up with that?
This X-Force is so wild. I adore this book.
This is some of the best X books I've seen in decades.
It's wild to think that X-Force #1 was kind of like, I wasn't really super sold on the book. But it has rapidly become like neck and neck with Marauders now for my favorite X book.
Oh, yeah.
If the trend continues, it'll probably surpass the next issue.
I do love me some Marauders. I do love me some X-Force. And the nostalgia in me keeps New Mutants as the number one. But these guys are neck and neck.
It's, Ben Percy and Steven Segovia was the guest artist. I believe it's Quesada is generally, not Quesada, Cassara.
I don't want to get too overly hype on this, but it's a good time to be an X-Men fan.
It really is.
It really is. And I'm really excited about that.
X-Men fans are eating well.
So we got something coming up. Our news segment is coming up. We're going to take a quick break while my boy Brooke talks about how awesome we are and all the other nice stuff. And then we'll be back with some news.
Welcome to episode 21 of Hazardous Materials, last week's comics this week. This is Brooke with Haphazard Fiction Studios, and hope everybody's enjoying the episode so far. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of news that over the course of this last weekend, myself, Robert, and some of the other guys from Haphazard Fiction have come together and been doing a little bit of work on the War Room, so just want to get everybody prepped for the fact that hopefully we will have new content coming soon, where we will be doing board game demos. Casey is definitely happy about that. He's ready and excited to start doing some Hero Clicks action here in the War Room. So hopefully we'll have that together for you guys here pretty quick. But if you want to help us make that happen, we could definitely use your support. Feel free to check us out on Patreon. But once again, looking for those subscribes or anything you guys can do. Thanks for tuning in this week. And I take you back to Casey and Gideon with Hazardous Materials.
And welcome back, and we're ready for our news section. This one, we had a little bit of debate if this should be a comic review or a news thing. And I think we ultimately landed on news.
For a reason.
So the comic in question is Justice League number 39, which concludes Scott Snyder's run on the title, which I have very vocally not been a fan of.
I think we really call it a run, more of a what's a better word for run on this? A ravaging, a marauding. Maybe a pillaging.
Throwing a brick through my window?
Yeah. Thank you for throwing this Justice League brick through my window.
So the Phantom Stranger rolls up and he's like, yo, Justice League, things got pretty wild there. Got hot and hairy and you fought Perpetua and all that's good, but there's a bigger crisis coming. 'Cause of course there is. We got to get Scott Snyder's new bigger and better event comic, whatever Metal 2 will be. But the thing that really made me want to talk about this in reference as a news piece is there's a page where it's a little montage of stuff that happened in other books. And they have a scene from Doomsday Clock, and they mention that things not in this reality, but whose effects are felt all the same, which feels like DC finally just being like, yeah, Doomsday Clock wasn't in continuity.
And that's a hell of a timing problem.
Just insane. Like, oh my God. So I know you already have the continuity issue of it's supposed to be a year in the future of the DCU, but Alfred's still kicking in Doomsday Clock. And there's one other really big continuity quagmire in there, but that's probably the biggest and most noticeable sticking point.
And we're talking about a series that took quite a lot of buildup.
Yeah.
This was quite a lot of fanfare.
And this was like their bestseller every time it came out. It was a big deal.
And we got Snyder.
And it feels like, it just feels like DC editorials pulling the rug out from under us. And it just compounds an even bigger problem that I have with DC right now is that they're pitching to us that they're going to have this unified timeline that explains everything, but they can't even get their current events in order.
Remember the last time they told us they were going to give us a unified timeline that was to explain everything? It was 0 Hour?
Yeah, 0 Hour explained everything.
And then we've just been, comics have just been a constant downfall since 0 Hour. That's a joke. I don't actually believe that. 0 Hour, the comic, is a mess. But the fold out poster of the Timeline DC universe is flawless. It was flawless for a while.
No beef with it. But what I do have beef with is the fact that while I was very excited about the idea of more laissez-faire take on continuity of being like, don't worry about it. I'm like, yes, that's how it should be. It's frustrating when you're trying to build a timeline of events that are happening concurrently. So like Event Leviathan, Year of the Villain, Doomsday Clock, whatever the hell's going on in Justice League. And none of it makes sense. There's a bunch of direct contradictory issues, like the Legion of Doom symbol showing up in the sky across the entire line when things could not at all be happening at the same time. Like a Pre-City of Bane Detective Comics having this thing show up in the skyline, but a City of Bane issue having it show up in the sky.
It's always seemed to me to be, and for me, this has held true for years, is that DC editorial is not half as organized as Marvel's is.
Yeah, it's nuts.
There does not seem to be somebody guiding the ship half the time.
It feels like it feels like that there are different camps that are at war. And I think we mentioned this before, that it sometimes feels like a power struggle between Dan DiDio and Jeff Johns. And man, it really feels like that. I got no idea what's going on in those offices. But it shouldn't be this hard to figure out where Event Leviathan, Year of the Villain, Justice League, and City of Bane all relate to each other. And Doomsday Clock especially. Like, these are all big, high-selling titles, and you should be able to just be like, yeah, you read this event and this event, this event. Well, then you have a 5-event pile-up. Like, what the hell are you supposed to do with that?
Yeah, some of it just cross-pollinating in bad ways. I think they basically wrote themselves into a corner.
Yeah, and I can understand like not wanting to restrict your creators and let them tell the story they want to tell. But when you're also pitching things as a shared universe, and that's a very big selling point for a lot of comics because it sells more comic books, what do you do there?
You know, it seems to me like Jeff Johns is a better writer than he is a herder of cats.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll give you that. I've kind of soured on Jeff Johns over the last couple of years, but yeah, he's
my faith is still with him because I mean the man made Blackest Night.
Yeah, Blackest Night real good,
and he did rebirth Green Lantern. He did rebirth Flash. To some mixed results. We both can agree that Barry Allen is boring as piss.
Yeah, he did the Wally West run in the early 2000s, which is phenomenal.
Yes.
But he also did do that really stupid scene where Power Girl says her boob window is where she was going to put a logo, but I just haven't found it yet. I don't know that Amanda Conner had to draw that.
I don't know why that damn window has to be such an issue. I've seen women's tops and shirts with holes in the exact same place, and no one walks up to them and go, "Hey, nice boob window."
I didn't mean to cut a promo on Jeff Johns today, but here we go.
Yeah.
A big issue I have with his writing is a lot of it feels very defensive of things, like he's trying to combat arguments with people who aren't reading the book anyway. Like like an Aquaman, when he had Aquaman go, "I don't talk to fish." It's like, you're already picking up a comic called Aquaman. You don't have to sell me on Aquaman, you know?
Yeah, and that was well drawn, well done. And
I like Jeff Johns' Aquaman, but that scene is dumb.
Yeah, it is. And anytime you bring up Aquaman, all you have to do is bring in sharks.
Yeah.
People love sharks.
Exactly. Like, you just make him cool. The Aquaman movie got it. He unironically talks to fish in it, and it rules.
Right. And it doesn't have to always be giant seahorses every time.
Yeah. But he does surf on a giant seahorse, and that's awesome. but yeah, there's another the Barry Allen bow tie origin. That's another thing. He gets very hung up on giving unnecessary explanations for things like the boob window. In Flash Rebirth, there's a whole bit where he's running late for court and he doesn't have a tie, but his mom gives him a bow tie.
That seems kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, or is he his mom or Iris? It was just like, did we need to devote 3 pages to why Barry Allen wears bow ties? It's because he's a square. I don't need a sad backstory for it, or a sad backstory for Hal Jordan wearing bomber jackets.
I mean, it really comes down to it. Superman is a Captain America type. He's the Boy Scout. Batman is the brooder. Green Arrow is the edgy liberal. Hawkman is the edgy conservative. And then you got Flash.
Barry Allen does science. He does flash facts. That's Barry Allen's niche. He should be a golden retriever. He should be the nicest guy on the Justice League. But apparently people don't think that's interesting, so we got to make him sad all the time.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, geez, Barry Allen.
Put him out to pasture. Old Yeller, that golden retriever, I say.
He is a bit of a nerd, and Wally West has definitely got him beat on almost every level. Speaking of which, did you see somebody put up a bit of art suggesting that Wally West's outfit is going to turn blue? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't like it. I like his current costume.
I do too, but it feels like that's the safe place to put him.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to legit happen. I think Brett Booth was kicking around a blue Wally design a few years back.
It was a blue and black design. It was really good. I'm actually a big fan of Brett Booth, even though he's a total 90s artist.
Yeah, I'm not a big Brett Booth guy, but I appreciate his enthusiasm for Wally. I think I mentioned that every time we talk about Flash Forward.
Yeah.
He's got the spirit.
I like, oh God, I've actually forgotten his name. Oh, the white-haired guy from Stormwatch with the coils coming out of it. It's Whiplash.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Whiplash?
I'm not 100% sure.
God, I used to love this character, and Brett Booth created him.
Backlash.
Backlash. I bought tons of issues on this. I got a character that I made for superhero RPGs I still use to this day, who's totally ripped off his mask. So
it was a cool one.
Yeah. So I'm a Brett Booth fan of that, even though sometimes he can make some questionable decisions. His blue outfit does look really cool.
Yeah, it looks cool, but I'd rather Wally stick to as close as being the one true Flash as possible.
Yeah. I guess they're still trying to give him an identity beyond being Flash 2.0 or whatever.
Yeah, we make him the Flash. That's all you need.
We can get rid of Barry.
Make him the parent Flash.
Yeah, we could get rid of Barry and not be sad about it.
Yeah,
because we did it in '86.
Yeah.
No one
cared.
We were all sad because we couldn't believe that they would actually kill Flash off.
Yeah.
And then they did. I mean, Wally for like 10, 12 years.
Those last 2 years of Flash stories, though, Trial of the Flash goes on entirely too long.
Oh.
Like as something a Flash aficionado straightens up. So the Flash book ends with Barry Allen, like he kills Zoom. He has a trial that lasts like 2 years in publication, and then he just bounces to the future with Iris.
Yeah.
He's like, bye, heads out. I think he's found guilty. Like, I think he just goes on the lam. Either he's found guilty or he's found innocent but feels guilty about it, and so he bounces. And then
I think we've gotten so far down the yellow brick road on this one.
To think that we were just...
I actually had to look back and go, oh, crap, we've got
other stuff to talk about.
We've got a bunch of this stuff. Hold on. I actually have to scratch this out because now we're not going to talk about it anymore.
All right.
All right.
Sorry, I got very passionate about my frustration with DC's insistence on having a unified timeline, but their inability to actually carry it out in modern days.
And because of that, we're not going to talk about The Good Place at all.
Good, because I haven't seen the finale and I didn't want you to spoil it for me. I
know.
But bit of news for Hellions, which was the Zeb Wells, Steven Segovia, Dawn of X book that was coming up that I was pretty lukewarm on when I saw the lineup. I was like, don't need it. But I'm a huge fan of Inferno. I think we've talked about it before. That's my favorite X-Men story.
Yes.
And they're bringing back Maddie Pryor.
Yes, the convoluted, complex character that is the clone of Jean Grey that gave birth to Cable and became the Goblin Queen.
Mm-hmm. And she is going to be hopefully the main villain of Hellions, certainly explains the title.
It does.
What beyond like the regular Hellion connection?
I mean, I'm almost wondering if she's going to like join the team at this point, because
who knows?
That team is filled with bastards.
Yep.
I mean,
We got
Scalp
Sinister.
Hunter himself is a bastard.
We got Sinister. We got Nanny and Orphan Maker.
Mm-hmm.
We got morally dubious Quanon.
Empath and Scalp Hunter.
Yeah, it's I'm a lot more interested in it now. Now that I know that's the hook, I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I like Inferno.
So I wonder what that story is going to be all about.
We'll see. Maybe
Inferno 3.0.
It is Sinister as the leader of the book, so I think it might be him trying to tie up some loose ends.
He does have a few loose ends to tie up, doesn't he?
He do.
And he had a lot to do with Goblin Queen.
And you know, calling back to our lost episode, the Sinister Secrets, one of them was about Madeline Pryor, and I was super jazzed about that. I was like, hell yeah, bring her back.
Oh, that was right. Our missing episode was all about Sinister and how fabulous he is.
I only have one note for this book, though. Mm-hmm. Got to bring back Havoc's Goblin King outfit.
Oh my God.
The best. You know, say what you will about Maddie's Goblin Queen outfit, and
his is just as bad.
Yeah, I'm about to say. Mark Silvestri was an equal opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, with Madeline Pryor, we had notorious underboob going on the entire time. But yeah, you get to Havoc, and his beans be swinging in the air.
My man's is just wearing his logo and a loincloth.
Yep, that's why he's there. He's man chowder at that point. Yeah, I mean,
he's the arm candy.
He is just as gratuitous as she is, and I'm glad that they went that way with the 80s.
Read Inferno, great comic.
Read Inferno and Read Inferno 2.0. It's actually pretty good too.
Yeah. So moving right along. Batman started filming.
The Batman. And of course, with the clapboard, which you can see here, they've also revealed what the logo is going to look like. Yeah. I'm, of course, curious to see where this goes.
Me too.
My big thing is I want to see the costume. I've got to see the costume.
We'll probably get something by San Diego.
Yeah.
If I'm a Tor betting man, which I have bet multiple times on this show, but I'm not going to bet this one. But I'm fairly confident that we're probably going to see, at the very least, the costume, maybe even the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Maybe. I was going to say maybe even a trailer. No, probably not.
Do you
maybe
think it's going to be as gritty as the Batfleck outfit?
I
really do you think it's going to be something sleek?
I love the Batfleck outfit. I kind of want to see. Yeah, I'd like to see them a bit sleeker. A bit more Batman
because,
Year One.
Robert Pattinson is kind of a lean dude.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking that's the angle they're going to go. They're not going to go buff because for whatever reason, Batfleck was buff as all hell.
He was a goddamn tank, and I loved it. I was here for it.
He was huge. I think they're going to go for a more slender Spider-Man kind of svelte look.
I'm hoping for like a David Mazzucchelli Batman Year One style. You know, kind of clean lines.
Nice reference. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, Batman Year One. Come on.
You know I don't like Batman.
Yeah.
Okay, let me clarify. I don't like Batman comics. Batman movies, totally different.
Batman Year one of arguably the best Batman comic ever. It's written by Frank Miller, drawn by David Mazzucchelli of Daredevil Born Again. If you read that one.
Is this the Batman book where he's dressed out like Daredevil is?
No.
All black, wrap his face.
He kind of starts off wearing like a toboggan and he like does some makeup and gives him a scar when he first goes out before he becomes Batman.
Okay.
And then they do the, yes, father, I shall become a bat. It's really good.
I don't know about that.
Modern classic.
Anyway, so it started shooting on the 27th, and of course, we'll probably get on-set shots from there. And
cannot wait to see Colin Farrell's Penguin design.
Yeah, how are they gonna do that? I mean, Colin Farrell is not known for being short.
He's put on some weight, so we'll see.
He's got the hairdo back that he had back when he did Magical Beasts. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of curious about that.
We shall see.
Moving right along.
Other movie news.
Fast 9 dropped. Well, Fast 9 trailer dropped.
Lord, that trailer. Oh my God. We got John Cena as Sub Totero.
Super, Nega Totero.
He's got hair. That's how you know he's the evil
opposite. He does have hair, and there's a lot going on in this trailer. Not only are we getting the fact that John Cena is being introduced as Toretto's hidden brother,
which
does everything better than he does.
As you can attest, I cackled when they said he's Dom's brother. I
waited for it too. I was just sitting there waiting because I remember I was watching you watch it and you were already laughing at the slow piano intro.
I was already howling at the just like commando ass opening of I got a family now. I used to live my life a quarter mile at a time.
No, before we get too deep into this and you get this impression that we laugh and hate Fast and Furious. We both love the Fast and Furious series.
So I would say that I love the Fast and Furious series, but I saw the first one in Tokyo Drift back when they came out. And I was like, these are fine.
Yeah.
Then I missed the whole franchise. And then I saw Hobbs and Shaw last year.
Well, see, that's the funny thing. I still haven't seen Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw.
And I've seen the entire series.
And I've said this at least twice on the show. Mm-hmm. The best superhero movie of 2019.
Yeah.
And Fast 9's got a car that does a Tarzan.
Yes. I told you. I was like, wait for it. Yes, it just did a Tarzan swing.
It's Spider-Man swings away.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Now, the most important part of this whole thing, aside from the fact that halfway through the trailer, we do get the guy that starred in Tokyo Drift for like a split second.
Yeah.
The last, we get our justice for Han. When Han shows up completely alive, hey, what's up? Nice house. And then you see him driving around. So he's obviously going to be involved in the meat of this movie. I don't know if you've been following any level of coverage on Fast and Furious, you know that Shaw, is it Hobbs or Shaw? Which one is the one played by Jason Statham? Shaw is, he's the guy that kills Han supposedly at the middle part of Tokyo Drift. And it's revealed like later on, he's the one that did that. And then they go and they make this spin-off movie where everything's fine. He's part of the group. He's part of the family. And he's still the bastard that killed Han. So a lot of people have been screaming, justice for Han. This has been like a thing on Twitter for a while, a hashtag, justice for Han, because people are like, why isn't this being answered? Why is this murderer still part of the group? He killed one of your boys. Why aren't you punching him in the face? So this is clearly the answer to that. Because at the very end, what was the beeline they gave you as soon as that happened?
It was like, justice is coming.
So we get justice for Han. Basically, he's not dead. Now, I get that. That's what happens in Fast and Furious movies. Mm-hmm. No one stays dead. Letty didn't stay dead. Han didn't stay dead. I'm still waiting for like some of the people that died in the very first movie to come back. But they haven't been come back. I still am excited the fact that Han is back because I love Han.
Yeah, as if Hobbs and Shaw was enough incentive for me to do like a deep dive into this franchise. Oh man, seeing a stealth bomber with a magnet on the bottom pick up a car.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Now, well, I gotta say this series does get incredible, but it's one of those weird series that does actually get better with each movie. As long as you know what you're in for. I want to see. It's going to get crazier.
We're going from selling bootleg DVD players to cars doing Tarzan.
Oh yeah, or stealing gas in Puerto Rico or something like that. But yeah, we're still waiting for what is probably Fast and Furious 10 in space.
Yes, they got to be saving it for that.
They got to be doing that.
There is a rocket car, so the setup is there.
So yeah, check that out. I guess we could just put a link to the trailer and our little thing down there.
Check it out.
Moving right along. Owen Wilson got hired by Marvel.
Wow.
We
got it out of the way.
He got hired by Marvel for a major role in the Loki series that's coming up. And of course, this has led us to do a lot of speculation. Mm-hmm. Our producer thinks, well, he could be Adam Warlock. And it's like, no, Adam Warlock is a perfect being. Our boy Owen's got a broken nose.
He has a perfectly broken nose.
It's not going to happen. And then Gideon comes up with the genius idea.
Mephisto.
And what was Mephisto talking about?
Wow, looks like you're in a real jam there, buddy. You want to make a deal or something? I'm really interested in marriages right now.
It's the hot thing.
So yeah, all I really want is Owen Wilson as the devil now.
Yes, we've got to have Mephisto Owen Wilson. And I think just him playing himself is comedy gold.
Yeah.
Just because no one expects Owen Wilson to be playing the devil. Oh my God.
I'm going to be disappointed by whatever he inevitably winds up being.
He's not going to be an Asgardian. It can't be an Asgardian. He just doesn't have that kind of gravitas. He's just going to be.
We can recast Fandral for a second time.
Oh geez, poor Fandral. Oh my God. Hey, we recast you. We brought you back. You've got 5 seconds of screen time. Way to go.
Yeah. Go film Shazam.
Now, I remember they were talking about they did that scene because they wanted to show how serious the stakes were. Cool. You still could have given our Fandor more of a heroic exit than just a casual stabbing and walking away.
Thankfully, Lady Sif was in the bathroom for the entirety of Headless Reign.
Yeah, where the hell has she been? She is so fired.
She's getting that TV money.
Looks like another no call, no show for Sif. Can't wait to see her and fire her.
Can't fire you if you don't show up.
This is true. That's the
brain.
the power. That's the power right there. So moving right along on this one. Now, this one just kind of came out today concerning the CW's ongoing struggle to make The Lost Boys a series. Way back in early 2019, they put together a pilot. They put together a cast and they shot it. And CW was like, great, we hate it. Pass. So that kind of laid its turd.
The boys are truly lost.
Yes, but CW is not quite done with that, and I'm thankful because I love me some Lost Boys, and I want to watch a show about it. So CW said, okay, you can make another pilot, but we're going to completely kill off the cast. You've got to rehire these people because they suck. I'm glad they haven't shown their names because that would be really
how embarrassing.
Sad. It's like, well, I got a job on Lost Boys, but CW fired me. So that's what's going on right now. They're they greenlit for another pilot, and we're gonna see if it's gonna happen. I'm trying to remember what the name of the guy that's actually running it. It's Sergio Sigo, or he's from the Vampire Diaries.
Okay.
And this is apparently his new thing. I enjoy the Vampire Diaries, so I'm not expecting Lost Boys to be Vampire Diaries. No one can be Vampire Diaries. No, I'm expecting Lost Boys to be more than this. I love The Lost Boys as a movie. It's one of my favorite vampire movies ever. Probably up there in the top 5 with like Interview with a Vampire and Near Dark and all that stuff.
It's the best vampire movie with a shirtless saxophone scene.
Yes, and I still believe.
A competitive field.
And the only time you ever see Alex Winter doing anything other than Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Poor Marco.
And gives me one of my favorite.
Justice for Marco.
One of my favorite lines to bust out at work. It's a serious book. I'm looking for a Batman.
You can't mix up the Supermans with the gold kryptonite. I was like, just watching Corey Haim work his magic on the organization of comic books as a child. I was like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. So, yeah.
I think that's all the news that's fit to blab about.
I did want to talk a lot about The Good Place and how it ended and how I felt about it, and I'm not going to.
That's just too damn bad.
Because my boy Gideon is apparently on his Next Generation tip and is not watching any of their television.
Yeah, not watching any new TV. I'm all about the Starship Enterprise D, sir.
What about Buffy?
Buffy's good too.
But
we're in Star Trek house now. Whose house?
Ron's house.
Picard's house.
Oh, jeez.
Riker's house.
Well, catch up, man, because there's some Picard stuff to talk about, and I really want to talk about Good Place.
And I saw the first episode of Picard's free.
I want to talk about my feelings. I want to talk about my feelings.
Lost in the sauce, Casey Johnson.
Anyway, thanks for showing up to that today. As always, we are a struggling podcast, forever struggling, forever alone. We have a Patreon site if you want to check us out. We're here every Tuesday, right before the new comics show up. If you forget it's Tuesday, you can do that little bell thing and it'll let you know, hey, look, new Hazardous Materials. That's
Your
us.
favorite show is back.
Yeah.
And Hazardous Materials.
We got a link below. It uses all the artwork they used for this episode. Got a link below for my personal stuff, my comic book facts at Facebook, my little personal page on that.
The Insta.
Yeah. A little public plug for my own stuff. Yeah. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Later, guys.